In the Outdoor Studies program, we have the luxury of learning in a classroom with no walls, no desks, and no whiteboards. Instead, we get to learn about our native land, rich in history and science. However, no OSP field trip compares to this. The land doesn't speak with words, but it tells infinite stories of time, ecology, humanity, and wonder. Yellowstone National Park is an incomprehensible anomaly until you experience the diverse landscape with open eyes and an open heart. It is nourishment for those who crave wild places. I expected the bus ride to Yellowstone to be long and boring, but it was quite the opposite. After hours of playing games, singing songs, short naps, rest stops, and long gazes at the beautiful Montana landscape, we finally arrived at the Museum of the Rockies. At first I was like, I don't want to stop at a stupid museum, I just want to be in the park. But as soon as we stepped inside, literally my whole perspective on our local environment changed. From dinosaurs to the rock cycle to burrowing mamas, if you know, you know. There is so much to explore at this museum. I also definitely recommend stopping in the gift shop to look at their little rock animals.
What's up?
I'm so excited! After a dinner stop, we got back on the road and arrived at our hotel to settle in and get ready for an early morning in the magical Yellowstone. Waking up at 4 was difficult at first, but the excitement kicked in when 10 minutes into our drive we saw 2 grizzly bears and several bison. Then we arrived at our first destination of the day and met up with Ranger Jeremy to watch the wolves and eat breakfast. We learned about the feeding habits of the pack, how the rangers track them, and their importance to the environment of Yellowstone. We got to use all his special tools and study the footprints and hides of the wolves. Some of the kids especially enjoyed this part of the day because they thought Ranger Jeremy was a cutie. Then we headed to our very slippery, wintry hike that was pretty, but definitely not my favorite part. We did get to see some really old trees and a lot of bison poop. And unfortunately, I spotted a dead, headless duck in the lake. Then we stopped for lunch, which was so windy and probably the coldest part of the trip, but the boys played spike ball and it was still cute and fun. Then our lovely teachers decided to change up our plans and take a 2-hour drive to the waterfalls. That drive was one of my favorite parts of the trip. I was stimming out, so Spencer put worship music in my ears and I peacefully watched us drive through all of the 8 seasons of Yellowstone. We also made a bathroom stop that ended up being at a museum. When we were at the falls, it was sunny, then snowy, then sunny, then hailing, and then sunny again. It was actually one of the best stops of the trip. Then we rode back to the hotel, got some food, played games, and fell asleep. Months before the trip, we decided to buy overalls and decorate them for Yellowstone. We got to sleep in a little more this morning, and then we headed off to explore the geothermal science of Yellowstone. We walked around looking at all the geysers, mud pots, and hot springs. We learned about these unique features from 2 lovely park rangers. They also showed us artifacts from native tribes that have lived there in Yellowstone. Next, we got to watch Old Faithful, which was breathtaking. At that stop, we spent a lot of our money in the gift shop and had lunch. Then we got to tour the Grand Prismatic, which means brilliantly colored. It was definitely a magical experience.
Oh, this is amazing! I love Grand Prismatic!
We went on another walk around a set of boardwalks to see the boiling mud pots, and I think that these were the coolest geothermal features we studied. That night, Spencer and I got huckleberry milkshakes and a bison burger before we got to all hang out in the hot springs and then go stargazing. It was an amazing night.
These hot springs are one of the best parts of this trip. Wait till you get in.
After packing up in the morning, we took one more quick adventure in the park. We took a moment to celebrate Teddy Roosevelt at his arch before taking our final stop in the park. On the way, we saw 3 more grizzly bears. Most of the rangers we spoke to had never seen grizzly bears in the park, and we saw a total of 5 on our trip. We arrived at the Mammoth Terraces to learn more about geothermal science and the history of the Buffalo Soldiers. We ate lunch there and then headed back home. On the trip, I asked a few people if they could try to describe Yellowstone in words.
No, he's too close.